7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
Starting with the Rattler. Hello, welcome to Brothers and Booze. Doug, what's going on?
Not much, man. So the Rattler, man, what's in that?
A breezy mix of sunshine, or what is it? Sunday beer and grapefruit juice. So I'm thinking Sunday beer is some low-level ABV, kind of turns out to be like a Rattler-ish type, wonderful, refreshing. I would have to say thank you to Daniel Fisher, I believe, for this one. Yeah, it says Brooklyn, New York, so he's the culprit. What you got?
Oh, I got something from our friend Paige and Rick. My Landon Cerny beer. Dangerous Man. This one's their
Oh, I got your reference.
Spring Blossom Keller beer. So Paige and Rick sent me way more beer than I was expecting. Yeah, I'm going to have to return in kind. But I said I wanted some Dangerous Man stuff, and they certainly obliged. So.
You mean Paige and Rick, the beer fairies?
Yeah.
They deliver beer, and that's Dangerous Man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that pour, man, nice and clear and crisp. Keller beer, which I don't have a lot of experience drinking that. I didn't really, unfortunately, didn't research what a Keller beer is before we started. So, but
well, I can tell you it's a lager. I'm pretty sure.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks the part. Should be crisp and refreshing.
Yeah, very crisp and very refreshing. This is definitely a lawnmower style beer. Really hot, be really refreshing. Only 5% ABV, but man, that's tasty. That's my first one going for Dangerous Man. So definitely a good start. Thanks again, Paige and Rick.
That's your first Dangerous Man beer.
Mm-hmm.
A Keller beer. It's interesting. I'll tell you that much, because Dangerous Man, that's not what they're known for, even remotely.
No, but that's okay. It's something where they gave me something that's like not one of their typical beers, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah, and I don't know. For me, their thing is that they do everything well. So, I guess it's time to bring on our guest.
Yeah, absolutely.
He is a friend of both of ours.
Mm-hmm.
He was at the origin of the Top Sheet conversation.
Yes, he was.
So we'll have to talk about that. He's a board member of an organization I hold pretty fond, Home.net, and his name is Matt Strain.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Matt. Welcome to the show, man.
Well, I figured I'd join everybody else. So tonight I actually have this surreal 17-mile porter. This is a California brewery. They do not only non-alcoholic, but very low-cal and sugar-free. Believe it or not, this is a porter with 50 calories and 0 sugar.
Wow.
I love how Matt jumps in like he's just been here before.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's not like we've never talked to him before, so.
No, he knows.
Not bad looking for a non-alcoholic beer.
No.
Yeah, it's got a
No.
Oh, that is nice.
You weren't sure before.
No, I've never had the porter. I've had for the surreal mostly. I've been enjoying their Kolsch, and they do one that they call Juicy Mav, which is a hazy IPA. And those are the ones that I've been drinking. For the darker beers, I've been drinking more from Well-Being and Partake and a couple of the other breweries. I mean, it's kind of crazy. They have some amazing work being done in non-alcoholic beer. I mean, when I was growing up, non-alcoholic beer was O'Doul's, and it was awful. I mean, it was terrible.
It's still terrible, by the way.
Is it okay? Because I've heard, I have heard. I'm a part of a non-alcoholic beer group on Facebook,
Okay.
and there are several people saying that the O'Doul's Amber is supposed to be pretty good.
I don't know about that.
I haven't been willing to try yet because there's so much other selection out there to enjoy. It's kind of insane. I started off probably the first drinkable NA that I had was a Klaushaller, which is I want to say German or Belgian, not really sure, but it's a European import and it drinks really well. Their regular one drinks. It's not a fantastic beer, but it reminds me of like a Heineken or a St. Pauli Girl kind of thing. And then they put out one that's dry hop that was actually really, really tasty. And then one day of all places, I stopped by my local Total Wine and More and went over to their non-alcoholic beers section and was floored. The selection that they had was unbelievable. To give you an idea, this is literally the selection that I currently have. It just in general.
Whoa.
That's pretty impressive.
I'm terrible with the camera. There we go. But this is a black ale. There's a blonde. This is a lemon radler. The porter. This is a kind of hoppy India pale, coffee cream, raspberry. Is that Gose?
Goza.
Yeah, Gose. This one, the all free, is a new one for me that I found just last week. It's the first Japanese one that I've ever tried.
Oh.
And it really does have a lot of that like Sapporo type flavor. I mean, it was really, really light. The only thing that I found funnier is I let my mom try it, and she said it tasted like Dixie Light. And the minute she said it, I thought, oh, crap, you're right. It does. And now I have two more of them to drink while I think about Dixie.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a compliment.
From my mom, that is a compliment. I mean, that's what she grew up drinking.
Mm.
I think it's pretty interesting you started with a porter because, even now that we're seeing that whole genre grow, it's always, like you said, it was always those duels. It was some light, bland, like you don't think of like things like I seen, like one I have seen at the Stout is Brewdog puts out something called Punk AF, which is
Punk AF,
which is NA Stout, and I'm just like floored by that. Like, I think it's great because then it gives you a bigger range to try.
Oh yeah. What the most common ones that you will see, honestly, everybody does an IPA. I think it's really easy to showcase the hops without needing the alcohol. I think an IPA is an easy mark for a lot of the brewers to hit. But most of the breweries have gone so far beyond it. One of the big two that I'm finding are Well-Being, which is based out of St. Louis, Missouri, and was founded by an ex-restaurant guy. I think he was working more the front of the house bar type area, who had to quit drinking and would go hang out with his friends and got really tired of drinking soda and sugary drinks, and then went to try non-alcoholic beer and realized that it tasted really bad. And he thought, well, I'll just start making good stuff. And the Well-Being does a really great, they do this coffee cream. Yeah, there you go. That is their selection. The Victory Wheat, I actually have one in the fridge right now, and you were talking about a good mowing the lawn beer.
Yeah.
They actually add electrolytes into the Well-Being Victory Wheat. So it's like non-alcoholic beer Gatorade.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's killer. And then the other one that's taken the world by storm right now is the Athletic Brewing Company, which, if I'm not mistaken, they're I know they're somewhere up in New England. I'm trying to find it. Well, no, this one was made in California, but I know that they're somewhere up in New England. But Athletic is like gold. I can get their Upside Down, which is just like a classic golden beer, and their Run Wild. Their Run Wild, which is their NA IPA. They offer several one-offs and limited runs, but unless you've signed up for their subscription service, they almost always completely sell out before non-subscribers can even order it. They've got a coffee stout. They've got this is the Run Wild. They have another one called Freeway that's like a double hopped IPA that everybody goes nuts about. And apparently just recently they started doing like single run brews that they're shoving into people's like subscription boxes. And the deal's really not that bad. I want to say it's like $24 a month, and that includes shipping, and they'll send you 2 6-packs every month. And you can either pick what you want, or you can say, give me this and whatever your seasonal is. You know, a lot of people back in the spring were raving. They do one that's like their Mexican style that apparently is real good. But again, I can't vouch. I haven't tried it. I just know the ones that I have tried were fantastic.
Man, well, you sparked a lot of comments here, man. So before we get, I wanted to show Doug this one.
That's drinking Captain McKeever. He and I are not on the same page with beer, so.
Well, I agree with him on the goes.
Yeah.
Anyway. Athletic's not bad for NA. Good shower beer after tennis. Is that
yeah?
I believe. Benji says definitely looking for non-alcoholic. Thanks for being on the show, Matt. I've had the Bellevue Victory. It's really Gatorade.
I mean, it really is that kind of refreshing. It's kind of awesome. The self-propulsion thing ran out on my lawnmower, and I haven't gotten it repaired yet. So the last couple of times I've actually been pushing the mower, and I've been glad to have the electrolyte beer at the end of that run. It's hot out there.
Yeah,
so is this McKeever? He's really
there we go. Connecticut.
Athletic with Connecticut. He's really, yeah. They're contracting all over with help. I believe that is Athletic.
Yeah.
Athletic Golden Ale is nasty.
It is definitely not my favorite of them. That would be the Upside Down, I think, is what he's talking about. Yeah. I personally prefer the Wild Run, but when I went by this last time, knowing I was going to be on with y'all, I wanted to pick up what I could of the selections they had.
Yep. So, I mean, Daniel says he finds the Goldens are a tricky style to nail. I'm assuming he's talking about non-alcoholic. Do you agree with him, or have you found that, Matt?
No, I don't brew.
No.
Have you?
Do I agree with him?
Yeah. Like, have you found the golden ales?
I have.
Yeah.
I have found that most of the golden ales to me don't really shine. I grew up around New Orleans, so my first exposure to craft beer was Abita beer. Back when Abita was a little small guy that like brewed in his garage and sold to Ruby's Roadhouse in keg form, and that was the only way you could get it. So when I think of golden, I generally think of like the Abita Amber. And I haven't found a non-alcoholic that can make a really good, just like light drinking beer that is exciting. I mean, they're good. I mean, they're certainly better than nothing. But I haven't found one that really like reaches out and grabs my attention. I have not tried the hop tea. I drink a lot of the Lagunitas Hoppy Refresher, the hop water. I'm actually out right now, and so was my local Total Wine, which kind of upset me because I usually buy a case at every trip. But that's literally just
Hoppy
like sparkling water flavored with hops.
Yep. Wild Run is definitely one of the best NA beers I've tried.
Yeah, I am dying to try the Freeway, but I've got to sign up to get on their subscription service so I even get a chance. I think the last time they put it up, somebody told me that they had sold out within 3 hours.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Excellent. Doug, you got a question for him?
Yeah. So if you were going, so I know you talked about being like IPAs are kind of the big one out of the crowd because, like I said, if you can showcase the hops, you still get that IPA flavor. Is there a style you'd like to see that you haven't run across yet?
I really miss sour beer. Like, I mean, I would love to see an NA sour or even an NA lambic would be nice, just to get that tanginess. The Bravas does the raspberry. I call it raspberry ghost because I had never even had one of these as leaded before this, and it's nice, but it's more sweet than it is tart. I mean, it doesn't have that like sour beer tang. But I don't know the chemistry or the science behind brewing. I don't even know if you can make a sour beer without alcohol. Without having to do, I know the guy at Well-Being started off by getting rid of the alcohol. He would actually put the beer in a vacuum chamber so that he could lower the pressure around it so that it would boil at like 40 degrees Fahrenheit so that he could boil off the alcohol without temperature abusing the beer. I don't know if he's still doing that, but I know according to their website, that was how he started.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would work with a sour beer, but I have yet to find anybody that's doing them. I know that there are a lot of NA beers in Europe that are doing a lot more interesting stuff, but most of them aren't shipping to the States.
Man. So
that whole thing there is like a Walter White shit where I'm gonna do it in a vacuum chamber and stuff like that.
Hey, man.
I get to pull this one out, Matt.
Oh, there you go.
Ooh.
Is that the one I gave you in DC?
Uh-huh.
Nice. You've been holding on to it all this time.
Yeah, I've been meaning to try it. I actually wanted to jump on it. I told Doug I wanted to jump on it, but I don't know. It just kind of got, I wouldn't say buried, but it kind of got buried.
Yeah, well, I mean, I get it.
Well, ultimately, what happened was, when I knew you were on the show, I was like, yeah, this is great. So, this is Well-Being's coffee cream brew. Looking forward to this actually.
Yeah, it's their intrepid traveler. They give them all silly names.
Yeah, and while I pour this, Daniel Fisher says Athletic disappears at his local shop for sure. They're almost as popular as White Claw. That's saying a lot, actually.
It is.
It really is. I think there might be a dig in there. I'm not sure. I don't think so. I actually think he's saying that because White Claw is popular.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I mean, I can't lie. I'm old. I mean, I'm 48. I remember White Claw, but we called it Zima back then. Mm-hmm. And we flavored it by throwing the Jolly Rancher in the bottle.
Chambord.
Oh, there you go.
That's what we used to do that with. You sip a little and you have the bartender throw a shot of Chambord in it. And that actually made it taste tolerable.
Well, I mean, it made it taste like something.
Yeah. Otherwise, it was just that weird malt awfulness.
Yeah. All right, so I'm waiting to see what Greg thinks.
White Claw moved on the product,
So now I don't know, Matt. We can probably get into freshness. I don't know how fresh this is. Does it
Well,
matter?
you got to figure I gave it to you at the end of January, and it was
Does that matter?
Well, yeah, I mean, like any beer.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they put dates on the bottom of ours just like they do the regulars.
I'm getting more chocolate than coffee. But I don't know. It's the texture is a little bit different. The mouthfeel is more kind of
lighter.
on the end of like it's kind of a sodery mouthfeel without the carbonation. Does that make sense?
It does.
But it doesn't give you that sugary. I don't feel that sugary, like you feel that sugary texture of soda. Yeah, this is drinkable. This is light. I was expecting it to kind of be coffee cream. I don't know. The cream part should have maybe gave me a little. I was hoping it'd be a little bit of a little bit thicker because it poured really nice and dark, so it gives you that
that is
kind of thing. So
that is absolutely the most common complaint. There's a non-alcoholic beer group on Facebook. We've got people like me who don't drink alcohol at all anymore because I don't want to die. And then we've got people who literally drink non-alcoholic beers just because they're trying to cut back. Or, they like the idea of enjoying a good beer in the middle of the afternoon and still being able to go on with their day.
Mm-hmm.
And probably the most common complaint is that no matter how good the flavor gets on most of the stouts and that type of thing, they always lack that certain heavy mouthfeel. I have yet to taste something that would compare to like a Guinness or the St. Tammany Stout that Abita used to do back in the day, or any of your big heavy chewable stouts. They've never been able to get that down. But honestly, for those of us who can't anymore, it's nice to have something that's even close. And they're getting better with every iteration.
Yeah, so we have this. I thought Athletic Golden Ale was my favorite. That is until I had their light copper ale, Cerveza Athletics, then their Ghost down Goza. I wonder if that gives you maybe they were able to get that tardiness out of there because Goza are not that big, right, Doug?
Goza is how it's pronounced, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean they're a tart beer, but they're not that big in tartness.
No, I find them to be slightly tart but more salty because that's kind of the defining characteristic of it, I think. But you can get ones that are sweet, but I prefer them tart too. I don't like them sour, but I like them tart.
All right, let's see. Groovy in Colorado. Now, I haven't tried any of the Groovies yet, mostly because my local shop doesn't stock it. And when you've got a really great selection, at least until I work through everything they have, I'm not necessarily jumping on doing mail order just yet.
Yeah.
But it'll come soon, I'm sure.
Right. And another angle on non-alcoholic beer is there are times, if you can believe it, that I'm on the road and I'm drinking and I don't always want to have a beer. And even if I had just a little bit of in my flight, Doug, I can get like a non-alcoholic one. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's a way you can mix this all in and have a good time. It's interesting. This is one of the most commented shows we've ever had, actually, Doug, up to this point.
For sure.
And I when we met at Dad 2, Matt, not Matt, we knew each other before, but when we were at Dad 2, that's when you were showing Doug and I all these beers, and you had the hop water from
Lagunitas.
Fantastic. I wanted to steal all of it from you.
The hop water, the way I describe the hop water is it's literally like, what do they call that? The what's the fizz, the soda water that everybody drinks? LaCroix. It's like LaCroix, but for grown-ups. You know, I mean, it's that same basic bubbly seltzer. It's just instead of tasting like fake grapefruit or fake lemon, it actually tastes like hops and goodness.
Doug, you got a second beer over there?
Yeah, and I got a doozy. I picked up something purely because of the weirdness of the ingredients, and you know those rarely go well.
My friend Kelly says she never knew beer had a shelf life. Kelly, before that, like Kelly, yes, sometimes or some beers have a really short shelf life, and some beers you can age for. We were talking last week for decades, right?
Yeah, that one was like, yeah, you want to put that? I've said people aging it for 30 years. I was like, holy shit! Like
what? Right. So it's kind of like it's very and Matt, maybe you want to speak to this too after Doug's beer, but it's kind of like wine in a way where some wine you got to hit quick, and some wine they literally tell you 20 years, especially for port, right?
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, there's a variance there, Kelly, for sure. If you like IPAs, you need to drink them the second they come off of the out of the bottle, off the line. You need those immediately.
The fresher, the better for this.
Yeah, you need those IPAs yesterday. So what's up, Doug?
So this one is a collaboration between two breweries I really like, Stillwater and Evil Twin. This one.
You're still in your Minnesota stuff.
So this one
right
is called Surf. Look at those ingredients: an Imperial Gosa brewed with shrimp, lobster, lemon, and sea salt.
All right, I'm game.
I am.
I wouldn't be allowed to swallow it, but I'd totally take a sip to taste.
Wait, what the hell is that?
I know Gosa would be the only style that you could put that shit into a beer because it's briny. But
wait, shrimp and lobster?
Shrimp,
yeah,
shrimp, lobster, lemon, and sea salt in an Imperial Gosa, and it's 7.4%, which is high for a Gosa.
Is this from Paige and Rick?
No, this is one I picked up myself.
Okay.
Look at that.
Yeah, this is it. Scampy Ale.
Scampy Ale. Daniel for the win on that one. That's great.
Are there floaties?
No, it's clear.
Okay.
I
was just wondering if there were like chunks of lobster in there somewhere.
That would have been like the worst kind of Bloody Mary beer or something like that.
Okay.
On the nose, there's not a lot. Like it's just smells salty. Smells like not like seawater, but like smells like the ocean.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, the ocean if it had a smidge of lemon. How about that?
I can't get it. Are you?
That's a face.
Well, I'm trying to see if I can detect any of the lobster or shrimp, and I really can't.
Shrimp and lobster.
I don't get any of the shrimp or lobster taste at all. It's just all salt.
I don't know what to tell you.
It's like a very salty Gosa.
Is it good? Would you have another one?
Probably not. Here's the thing. I like Gosas, but I want something more than just salt. I want other stuff in it. So, I thought, oh, this is going to be weird. And I was like, I'm handing it off to my wife to see what she said. So this ought to be fun.
Right.
I want to see her face. So hold on a moment.
Oh, my is right.
This is the face.
Right.
Do you detect any of the shrimp or lobster in that at all?
Wow.
Just salty. So she agrees. It's not just me. So, yeah, I think it's freaking cool that they're trying something completely weird, but just a really super salty Gosa. Kevin McKeever would throw this down the drain in 3.1 seconds. So, yeah. Cheers.
Oh man. So Matt, are you gonna open up another one? You have one there?
Yeah, I actually have to get up and go walk to the kitchen to go grab one real quick.
That's fine.
All right. Well,
But let me go see what I got.
we'll be here when you get back.
Okay.
So, I love
So,
this.
Kevin made the comment that he said he did like the Old Bay one from what was the name of it? From Flying Dog. They made an Old Bay. No, it was Flying Dog. They made an Old Bay beer, which I have, which was actually pretty tasty and good. It wasn't something I would have more than one of at a time. This isn't like that, Kevin. It sounds nasty. It's just super salty Gosa.
Lemon and salt.
Lemon and salt. I got a My Box style here that I'm going to open up. Probably while Matt opens up his.
So, since everybody was talking about, how well the Run Wild from Athletic works, I have one cold.
Look at that.
Yeah, that sounded.
Man, I was as fascinated, though, when we were at that too, Doug, and we were talking to Matt about these these non-alcoholic beers and the variety that was out there. And I was just happy for people who can't drink beer, who, need the non-alcoholic. I love it. I think it's fantastic. What's going on, Matt?
This is really one of my favorites. I mean, I know it's corny, but I was a big fan of IPAs even back when I still could drink the alcoholic beers.
It's not corny.
Okay. I mean, I've heard there's a lot of back hatred going towards the IPAs these days as it being a bro beer. But honestly, I really like this one more than anything because it's got the nice hoppiness to it, but it's not that like piney hops. It's more of that floral hops. And again, I don't know enough about beer to know which variety of hops that means. I just know that, for instance, the Bravas Brewing Company makes an IPA, and it was good. It just left an aftertaste like I had licked a pine tree. I mean, like, it was good, but it felt like that real piney flavor that was not pleasant. At least not to me. I know that there are some people who like that, but the Athletic Wild Run or Run Wild is by far one of my regular go-tos. I actually had been saving this can because this was from I'm trying to keep track. It's July now, right? So this would have been back from my either June or May run.
Mm-hmm.
Because, these days we're all trying not to go out regularly to go shopping. So I'm typically making my way out to the Total Wine and, dropping $80-$100 and just loading up the back of the car, and I'm good for a month.
You come off as one of those guys like me who's at the supermarket like 5 times a week before COVID. I was there.
I was there every day too.
Right.
The funniest part is
once a week.
My grocery store is like less than a mile from the house, and I've been going there before my kids were born. But like from the moment that my daughter was born, we were always shopping there with the kid. And there are literally employees at the grocery that now I show up by myself without the 2 kids. And they will corner me to make sure that Lily and Patrick are okay. Because I was like, I would go to the grocery almost every day. I mean, there was no reason not to. You may as well buy fresh veggies. I mean, their fridge is better than mine.
Yeah. And plus, you never know from day to day what you want to make. I mean, that was our big thing. Like, it would be like middle of the day, and my wife and Beth would be like, "What are we doing for dinner?" I'd be like, "I don't know. What do you want to do?" And then we would figure out, and I just pick up, like I said, pick up fresh veggies, pick up whatever protein you want.
Mine was generally walk to the grocery store and just kind of wander through the veggie and meat section until something made me think, "Oh, hey, I want to cook that today." The last trip that I made to the grocery, they had a bunch of bone-in beef short ribs that they had marked down on discount because apparently they weren't selling. So I bought all of them. And today I threw them in the smoker with some maple wood chips at 225 for about 5 hours and pulled them out, and they were frighteningly delicious. I mean, nothing stuck to the bones. I mean, literally, you just grabbed it and popped right out.
So I think somebody wants to marry Doug's wife because why, Doug?
Jill, you just got propositioned on my show. So.
Right.
All right.
That's a first.
That is the first.
We've had people's moms commenting. We've had all kinds of shit.
Yeah, people like their dad and mom are like busting the person's nuts on the show, like just and it's like that is awesome.
Now we've had a proposal, so
yeah. That was our boy McKeever too.
So my friend Kelly says, wonder if Baltimore's Natty Bow has Old Bay. No idea.
Yeah, I don't know. Like that one we talked about, Kelly, is from Flying Dog, and they have an Old Bay. I think it's an ale. So,
I guess if you like it.
I would say you lost me at Old Bay.
Oh,
the chef, you
I'm
probably
a Cajun boy. I expect Zatarans and spicy, not Old Bay.
Yeah. Well, I think Old Bay is very kind of region specific, right? That's a Maryland staple, Baltimore specifically.
Yeah, she's being propositioned because she hates the Gozas.
Yeah, apparently you're getting proposition because you hated the Goza. So,
I like Gozas in general, though.
So there you go. She's out.
Right, she's out. Right, it's probably rescinded. Look at that. You've been proposed to and rescinded in the same show.
Denied. Get that out of here, McKeever.
Flying Dog does do some good beers.
Yep.
True to that.
True.
Let's see here. What's going on in this? Run Wild's listening says brew with a blend of 5 Northwest hops there, Matt. And he gets it from the brewers in the house, Cascade Centennial, Mosaic, and Citra. I don't know. Is it a juicy? Is it a juicy one, Matt? Are the hops juicy or? Yeah, see, look, there it is. I would draw the proposal.
Thank God.
I'm not sure I would say it's juicy. It's definitely got a little bit of a citrus flair to it, but it doesn't have like the juiciness that you get from like a good hazy or anything.
Gotcha. Flying Dog Chesapeake Ale, Doug?
I have I think I've seen it. I don't think I've ever actually had it, so I don't know. I get lots of Flying Dog stuff. Gonzo, their Imperial Porter is one of my favorite Imperial Porters ever.
So Matt, while you're here,
while we have you,
an organization that you volunteer for made a big announcement. Was it today?
Yeah. We finally had to announce the postponement of Home DadCon 2020. We can't really justify asking a whole bunch of fathers from all around the country to fly into one place in the time of COVID. It's a disaster waiting to happen. And it's hard because like for a lot of us, we look forward to this all year. I mean, this is our vacation. I get to go away for a week and not have kids, and hang out with my fellow dads and like, they do a beer, like Greg hosts a beer exchange that is epic. I mean, I haven't been because I don't drink, but
but now the thing is with the NA stuff, all the varieties, that would be awesome to put that in a beer swap.
Yeah, I would seriously consider. The good news is we are postponing till 2021. We are still going to be having it in the Cincinnati, Ohio area. Technically, we're in Covington, Kentucky, which is like spitting distance over the river from Cincinnati. Like you can walk to Cincinnati, but the tax rate is better. Yeah. But the tax rate is better. So, but we're going to be using the same facility and everything else. Luckily, the management at Embassy Suites made a really, really kind concession. Our biggest fear was that we planned this event a year ahead of time. And we signed contracts committing to financial obligation to Embassy Suites like months and months and months ago, long before COVID was even a blip on the radar. And with Embassy Suites being owned by Hilton, it's not like this was a mom and pop operation where the manager could just look up and go, well, y'all are good guys, we'll let you out. So there was a little bit of negotiation, and when everything was said and done, Embassy did us a true solid, and we were able to reschedule it for 2021, and there will be absolutely no financial stress on the organization at all. So instead, we're looking at doing something different. We're actually looking at doing, I started referring to it as the non-con, and apparently the name has stuck, much to the dismay of some of the board members. But we're talking about doing like a one-day non-con that's going to be kind of an all-day virtual thing that's going to have a lot in common with the convention. We're going to try to make it as close as we can get, but it's all still going to be, like this over Zoom, which it isn't the same when you can't just reach out and give your brothers a hug.
No, but I can drink in my underwear.
You can totally drink in your underwear. But we're looking at bringing in some different keynotes. We're looking at bringing in some keynotes, just like we do for the convention. Offering multiple breakout sessions, and then after everything's said and done, doing some kind of social hour afterwards via Zoom or one of these random streaming services that we're all seemingly learning about these days.
Well, Doug and I knew before this shit, but anyway.
Yeah. Y'all knew. I mean,
we were ahead of the curve. Give me forget it.
well, the issue that we were in was we needed to find out what exact financial obligation our nonprofit was going to be under, and make sure that we had the ability to cover that financial obligation before we made an announcement, because there were a lot of guys who pre-bought tickets to come to the convention. I mean, myself included. And needless to say, when you're told that it's been postponed for a year, most people are like, I would like a refund now. And we wanted to make sure that, if we had to pay cancellation fees or penalties, our first obligation is to keeping this organization there to support dads who are primary caregivers. And, that's more important to us than the convention, although the convention is an integral part of it. But once we had things lined up where we knew that that our postponing it wasn't going to cause any financial difficulties, the first thing that we did was announce it as soon as we could. And I think it took all of 30 minutes after the post was put out before the first request for a refund showed up. Which again, I don't blame them. I mean, it makes complete sense.
Well, we're also in the middle of a pandemic too, so
yeah. I mean, money. For a lot of people.
Yep.
For a lot of people, money's tight.
Someone's saying that we drink in our underwear at the con too, but maybe we shouldn't mention that here.
That is probably true.
But we just did.
Yeah.
That was Mr. Saladino talking about.
Oh yes, I could see that. I could see that.
I could see that too.
I was gonna say I'm one of the nerdy guys. While you guys are doing the beer exchange, I was in a room with a bunch of other dads playing D&D until 2 o'clock in the morning.
That's still a freaking awesome time as
There
well.
was still drinking involved for the guys who drink, though.
All right, so normally we do a sponsor. That was our time for a sponsor.
So, ta-da!
Usually, and I will see you in Cincinnati. It's one of my favorite events. I go every year. I've been going for 6,000 years in a row. Yes, look that up. Fact check it. It's true.
I'm pretty sure you were on the board for at least a century.
Right, exactly. So you already know.
Yeah.
Oh, what?
Oh, there's a great comment from Jerry.
Okay.
That I am going to incorporate that into my everyday dialogue.
All right, wait.
Oh, drinking in your underwear?
Kalsara Kinet. Kalsara Kinet. Please tell me I'm pronouncing that right.
All right. So, okay, Doug. So here we go. So drinking in your underwear is a thing, right? Does it have to be in a plastic cup or can it be in a glass?
If you're not in a shower, that doesn't matter. Like when you're in the shower, there's water. You might actually slip and fall. We had this whole thing where Greg was like,
not water.
I am.
Underwear.
So Greg said, "I'm going to try the shower beer thing." And he went to the shower and he had a glass mug. And people were like, "Dude, are you all right?" Like, because they're worried. It's a glass. If it breaks in the shower, you could injure yourself. Because like, fuck this.
And all I can think of is when it came to shower beers for me, because again, I used to work as a chef, and for anybody who's been in the industry, you work long hours for crap pay in the worst conditions possible. It's a dream job.
You sell it so well.
I remember working as a chef and having parents come up to me and say, like, my kid is thinking about becoming a chef. What should I tell them? And my response was always, tell them don't. I love cooking, but like, who willingly signs up for a job where you're going to be working all the nights, all the weekends, all the holidays?
Yep.
When your friends go out to that really cool concert, you're working. Your day off is Monday, Thursday. I mean, it's not like you're going out and hard partying. It's a tough life. But when you get off of work at 1 o'clock in the morning, and then you stop by the beer you stop by the bar, and you do your row of shots followed with beers, etc.
Right.
And then eventually you make your way home. It's late. You don't really have time to like sit down and have a beer and shower. But like this whole glass mug concept, no, I just literally opened a can and chugged it while I had the hot water running. There was never anything civilized about it.
So was it something that you found? Did you drink it just because you wanted a beer, or was it something you found? Like for me, I like the hot water versus the cold beer. There's like a nice dichotomy there that I enjoy.
Yes, absolutely. The hot water, cold beer was fun.
You can do that all you want.
Whatever. Like again,
you and Tepper can have your non-fun showers.
Listen. The next time I have a beer in a glass and I want to take it in the shower, I'll pour it back in my cup so everybody's fine. And
Put it in a red Solo cup. Who cares then? Fine.
Do you also refuse to group shower with your wife to save water? I mean, are you against all the fun shower things?
Who, me or Doug?
Hey, we're not. I like joy in my shower. How about you?
Yeah. I was talking to you. You're the one that doesn't want the joyful beer in the shower.
Who, me?
Yeah. What other joys are you refusing?
No. See, to me, joyful is when I can take whatever the fuck I want in the shower without getting heckled in my group. So to me, it's joyful if I can take my glass. It's not.
Oh, they heckled you for the glass.
Yeah, it's the glass.
Yeah.
Well, that's just dumb.
Thank you.
You're a grown ass man. You're not going to drop it. Come on.
See,
He's a grown ass man.
Look at this. I found a new co-host. Bye, Doug. Yes.
So wrong.
That's why
Honestly, here's the thing, Greg. The funny thing was, I was not as concerned about that. I was like, "Hey, cool, you're up." And it was like the other people that were giving you a whole shit ton of stuff about it, and I was like,
it was fun.
"Yeah, I get it, but God, he's not 5. He can."
Right. But it wasn't like I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna take my glass in the shower." I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get a shot. I'm just gonna do
I have here.
So we have a segment here that we got to get to, Matt, and do it every week. Is the thing I don't want to think about, and I'm going to be positive this week, Doug. I think. The thing I don't want to think about this week, Matt and Doug, is sports in America. I really don't care. I don't give one fucking damn about it. And I mean that in a good way, a positive way. It's not that I'm like opining for him to come back. I'm not worried about who's sneaking out of the NBA bubble to get a prostitute. I don't care. I feel fantastic. It's great. Like, seriously, it's a it's kind of, I almost feel like it's, I wouldn't say a burden, but like before COVID, I was a huge sports fan. I would care about every deadline, NFL, all that. At this point, I really don't care, and it's a good thing. So the
You
thing
have so much more free time now.
Yes, I don't care. I listen when it'll come on. Yes, will I watch it? Yes, but I'm not going to be sitting here like, oh my god, Russell Westbrook went to McDonald's and left the bubble. Like, I don't care, and I'm not going to. And I don't care if the NFL figures out their problems in the MLB. I don't care, and I'm happy for it, Doug. If you want to go off of that, or
No, I'm going to differentiate from that just because I'm a huge basketball nut and I really miss basketball. That's the only sport I miss, quite literally.
Wait, so you care about them leaving to go get prostitutes out of the bubble?
I personally don't care because I don't give a shit what you do with your sex life. I don't care. That's
but hold on. But that is affecting. That could affect whether they actually pull this off or not, Doug. That's why you should care, right?
Sure. Okay, that's for sure. But the what he did to leave the bubble, I don't care about. The fact that he left the bubble matters.
Okay.
What he did outside, I don't care. He could have went and hung out. He could have went out and hung out with Donald Trump, and I wouldn't care. Well, I would have cared because I would have.
He could have went for donuts. Who cares? He went on to.
Yeah, but if he was going to hang out with Donald Trump, I'd think much less of him. But that'd be different.
Okay.
But I don't know. I don't care what they do when they go outside the bubble. You're still putting everybody in jeopardy. That's dumb.
Right. So you agree with what I said? Caveat.
Pretty much. I do because I want people to be safe, and I don't care who it is. I want them to be safe.
Right.
I don't care if it's a sports person. I don't care if it's a person that is, next door to me or somebody I don't know from 8,000 miles away. I want everybody to be safe. So.
Matt, do you have a thing that you don't want to think about?
I do, but I certainly can't comment on the sports thing. It took me a little while to figure out that you guys were talking about a real guy that left the bubble. Yep. I thought that was a hypothetical thing because while I literally live walking distance from Duke University, I don't care about sports, basketball, or any of it. It's never been a big part of my life. If there's one thing that I don't want to think about right now, it is what everybody is deciding to do this fall with their kids going to school. The reality is there are no good choices for any of us. If you have an in-person, the environment right now is if you send your kids to school in person, you're a terrible human being because you're putting your kids at risk. And if you keep your kids home to do online learning, you're a terrible person because you're preventing your children from having social connections and being able to be around kids. And if you do a hybrid, you're a terrible person because you're sharing. And the fact is, look, all of us are going to do the best thing that we can figure out for our kids. and cross our fingers and hope that we don't screw them up too bad.
Yeah.
And if you make a different decision than me for your family, man, you do you. I'm not going to judge anybody for what they choose, and I don't want anybody judging me for what I choose. I'm just trying to, like everybody else, I'm just trying to make it through this and get them to 18 alive.
Yes, and Doug and I were talking about this earlier today. I sent him a private message just asking how him and his wife were navigating through that with the teenage boys and everything they got going on, teenage boys and girls. And it's just, I don't know. We can seriously talk for 2 hours on this. It has so many layers, so many levels. I just wish everybody
and
luck.
no matter what you do. Yeah.
We are in a spot where our oldest is in college, and the college is mandating in person, and but they're doing it in a sense where you're like, you are basically confined to your dorm. They're going to give you a pod of 10 people, and that's your crowd to hang with, and they're assigning that. They don't get to choose their pod. So they're only allowed to leave the dorm to go to classes that they have to be in person for, like labs and things like that, or to go to the cafeteria to get food. They're allowed to leave campus to go get essential things. Then how is that containing anything? Like, it's not. And we're just like, I said something.
Well, not only that, but like the pot of 10 people. The pot of 10 people is a great plan until you've already dated the 5 people in your pod that are your type. And then you're leaving your pod because it's college.
Well, the other thing is my son's boyfriend, he might not even be in his pod. Like, how are you going to prevent him from seeing his boyfriend? You're not. You're not. You're just not. That's not how that works. College is not about containment. College is about letting your freak flag fly and just going and doing your stuff. And the thing is like, I wish they would just say, this fall we're going to do online, and we're going to see how this progresses to spring, and hopefully things get better. Hopefully things get better and we can get back to normal.
It's going to progress to getting shut down. I'm sorry.
And it is. It fucking is. And we can't do shit about it. I proposed to him once about maybe deferring a year, but he was just like, nope. And I'm like, he's 18. I can't. He's an adult. So, and our schools, like my sons go to one school and our daughter goes to a different school because we're a blended family.
Mm-hmm.
And my son's school was like, we right now are planning to have in-person classes, but that's fluid. We can change it depending on how things go. My daughter's school has said nothing. We have nothing from that. Now they start now. My daughter goes to school in New York and my kids go to school in PA. So PA things they start earlier. PA starts before Labor Day. New York starts after. So there's a little different time frame, but like literally we know
you
nothing.
Should still hear something by now.
Well, the other thing is like, so the school district my daughter goes to is a fairly impoverished school district. A lot of kids don't have a lot. I mean, it's a lower income group, a lot of rural stuff. So some kids don't even have like online access. So like it took them a while to get to where they could do online classes because they were trying to figure out how to reach kids that didn't have online access. It's so.
I gotta stop you soon.
Sorry, but it's one of those things that's just going all over the place. So
right, it's so many levels. It's this is what I do. I do want to make a comment though when you do that. Do that, and I'll make a little comment. We can sum it up, but ultimately. Cool. No, you.
Oh, okay. So I was waiting for you. So this is actually from my podcast partner Jay. This is our podcast, the Parental Advisory Podcast. So his wife made these shirts for us, so it's very nice. So he sent me this Crackalacka Milkshake Stout, coffee milk stout. So if you recall, the one I had last week was the maple stout, which not great.
Oh, wasn't.
So sounds sweet.
It was weird. It was like a dry stout like an English dry stout with maple all over it, and it wasn't great. What's that one, Greg?
I poured the Monsters Park from Modern Times.
Ooh, Modern Times, good one.
Imperial Stout aged in bourbon barrels with vanilla. No cocoa nibs. Very sweet. Boozy, no head. Really nice.
Okay. So this is a coffee milk stout. It's only 5.35%. So smell the coffee on the nose really well. Like, it's not like killing your nose, but that's the scent I get. I don't get much else. Ooh, that tastes like a really good coffee with milk. Yeah, that's really, 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 really good. I'm really out of all the ones I got from him, there was the one I had, the molten lava cake one from Florida that he had. That was outstanding, and this is not as good as that, but pretty damn close. So, thanks, Jay.
Is your podcast still a thing?
Yes, we are getting ready to start recording again. COVID has done a whole number of things to a lot of us, and we both had some pretty heavy things we've had to deal with to try to figure things out, and we are getting back to that. It's we don't have a time frame just yet. I'm actually going to be on vacation next week, and then hopefully sometime after that soon we'll start recording again.
I'm on vacation next weekend too. Where are you going?
I am going to Maine and quarantining in a house in Maine. So it's like a quarantine here, and we're going to quarantine up there. So yeah,
that is the exact same thing that we're doing. We're going out to the Appalachians in Northwest North Carolina, and we found a little 2-bedroom cabin in the middle of the woods in the mountains.
Oh, nice!
And we're going to bring the kids and basically look at a few new walls instead of the ones that we've been staring at.
But if you're out there in the middle of nowhere, at least you can go outside and enjoy.
That's it. That's it.
That's our whole point. Is we're isolated enough. There's a river that we can walk to, that we can actually do stuff there. The house is loaded with stuff to do. So it's going to be nice. Just all our kids are teens, so it's a bit different for us. Like you, Matt, you're in the you have to entertain me, Dad space all the time.
Dear God, yes.
Whereas I'm in the space where you're like, hey guys, can you come hang out with us for a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a different thing. But all our kids are really looking forward to it, and yeah.
I'm in the middle, Doug. I'm in the middle.
See, we're lucky.
In the middle of what?
Well, I'm
those two ages.
Yeah, I'm closer to you, but there's still this level of like, I don't know if it appears that Michelle and I are like just hanging out, they'll join us. So we don't have to. You know what I mean? Sometimes it depends on, but there's this time. But it's a gradual shift. Yeah. It's really, if you actually look at it, it's very, very subtle as the years go by. It just feels drastic as they get older, in my opinion. But I think for some kids, it's really, really like it's a progression. You just don't see it. It's like how fast they grow. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, you don't want to be around me now. But no, it's been a creepy thing, and that's kind of how I feel, at least with me. But again, it's different for everybody. But it's kind of been a creepy thing. But
and all of our kids have different levels to that. Like some are very touchy-feely, and others are just like, I'm going to be doing my thing over here. And it's more something where you just got to check in. Hey, are you all right? Everything good? Yep. Need to talk about anything? Nope, I'm all right. And you can tell they're your kids. You understand there's subtext, and you get when some things aren't quite right. So, it's just a different phase. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got a 6-year-old who's going into first grade this year, and a 3-year-old who's starting to really be able to talk enough that you can understand him finally. Mm-hmm. And pretty much they're on top of me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily for us, living here in Durham, North Carolina, it's interesting because it's a city, but it's a city in a very rural environment. Mm-hmm. The picture that you posted of me and the kids sitting on that rock, that's a 5 to 7 minute drive away from our house in the Eno River in the state park, which has been what we've been doing to get the kids out. You can't do it on the weekends because everybody in the world goes to the river on the weekends. But luckily, my wife does shift work at the hospital. So occasionally she'll get like a Wednesday or a Thursday off, and we can get out there when nobody else is out there. I think the day that we shot that picture, there might have been 8 people total, including kids, within a football field of us on the river.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nice. Most of it's like, on us, most of it is like knee to like, waist deep, which means it's enough that the kids can splash around and have fun, and not so much that you have to worry about them slipping, falling, and drowning.
Yeah.
So I actually wanted to say something about somebody's speaking. Okay. So I just wanted wanted to say something about the kids and what they're going through in school. Because again, they have an angle too in this, which is their pretty much whole world has been pretty much thrown upside down for the most part. There has been, and I think this is a generational thing, but especially in our generation, when we're talking about, there's this narrative that our kids are growing up selfish, spoiled. Generally, they don't earn anything. We give them everything they want. All these things that people say, they say it about our generation. I feel like they say it even more now coming up. So I'm gonna say, I don't even really want to argue that point. Really, I just kind of wanted to say, if you just want to make that true, just say our kids are growing up and they're soft. Okay, great. Let's just say that. I don't necessarily agree with that. I'm just saying, let's just say that for what I'm about to say. Then, if that's the truth, then I'm hopeful that the pandemic will give them resilience, because these kids are growing up with something that we never grew up with. So it's funny that we run around saying that they're this and that, and we've never really grown up with something dealing with pretty much a worldwide pandemic on top of, and this is my opinion, and if you want it, it's not their opinion, they can make theirs, this is my opinion, on top of a completely horrible, irresponsible response to the pandemic. These kids have to live with that. That will be resilience that they get going through this. And this is, as parents, I believe this is a silver lining in all this, because yes, they'll have to deal with this bullshit, but at the end of the day, they'll grow up more resilient than they would have if not going through this. Comments?
I think it's true.
Yeah, you go, Matt. I have one too, so you go first.
Yeah, I think it's absolutely true. I think the comments that are being made about the kids of this generation are the exact same comments that were made about my generation. And I'm pretty sure that my parents feel like somebody made those same kind of comments about their generation. Doesn't matter who you are, whoever comes after you has it so much easier, and they didn't have to suffer the way we had to suffer and all the rest of it. And honestly, I'm sure this is going to be like a major, like, life-changing event for these guys. I mean, I'm 48. When I think back to being a kid, there's really only one event that happened in my lifetime that I remember being something that was just earth-shattering. And that was when I was sitting in school and in the library and watched the Challenger space shuttle explode live on TV. That was the first time in my life that I thought, okay, maybe I don't want to be an astronaut. This is real. This is so much bigger than that was. And I remember that throwing me for a loop.
Right.
So I am sure this is going to be life-changing for this generation.
Yeah. I have one that is not similar, but is a more of a microcosm similarity. I grew up about an hour north of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And few years before the Challenger happened, we had 3 Mile Island occur. And that shit scared the hell out of me because I was, I think, 8 or 9. And all I could think was, if that thing blows up, we're all dead. Because we were an hour away. Like, you know, I didn't know much, but then there was also that stupid movie, The Day After Tomorrow, that everybody watched.
No, it was just the day after.
The day after. Sorry, whatever. Yeah, the day after was like, holy shit. Like, like those things stuck with me. The Challenger stuck with me for a different reason. But those were localized things. What this is not a localized thing.
This is the whole planet.
Worldwide. So there's not been something like this since, you know, for over 100 years. So this is different for them. And they also are in a different territory in that they have to manage 2 lives. 2. Their lives where they're talking to us and dealing with people, and their online lives. Because if they're teens, they're already on. And they have to manage a life there that you see it, we all see it. I put stuff out there that makes things look, hey, this is great, but that doesn't talk about any of the shit that we're all going through. It's almost like a persona, and they're dealing with that. But what I will say is they are way more aware of things than we were at that time because they have access to stuff. Yeah, I think in the traditional, you know, I struggle with this too because I grew up in rural PA and everything was hard work. Everything was hard work. You work hard, and that's what you do. And to me, hard work is hands. It's working with your hands. It's, you know, my parents had a giant garden, and I had to go out and weed and work in it and do all the stuff. And like to me, like, work isn't going to get done if you don't don't get on it yourself. But I have to understand that the world they're growing up in is much different. So, Greg, to your point, it's like, yeah, it's easier, but isn't that what you want for your kids? You don't want them to have the hard shit you had to do. I don't want my kids weeding. Like, that shit sucked. I don't want them doing that.
I will make one exception to that. I have to say, my wife and I bought our first home almost 11 years ago. It's the house that I'm in right now, and it's the house that I plan on leaving feet first because I'm never packing and moving ever again. Like, that's just too much of a pain in the butt. I'd rather light everything I own on fire and buy new stuff when I get there. But after we bought the house,
we could do a whole show on moving. Don't even,
yeah,
no,
hate moving, hate it.
Anyway, Matt, go on.
But I think we had been in this house for maybe, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years, and these 2 kids from around the block came and knocked on my door, and they couldn't have been like more than 8 and 10 years old. And literally asked me, hey, man, we're trying to make spare money. Do you have any yard work that we could do for you? And I was so excited to see them do that because that's what I did when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like, I literally remember going door to door to my neighbors' houses, asking to mow lawns, rake yards, pick up sticks, you know, anything I could do to make a buck. And I've spent so long listening to people talk about how, you know, kids today, they don't want to work. They don't want to do anything. And here are these 2 kids who are just like, yeah, I want to do things. And we totally did. We had them come and help us clear some ivy out of the yard. They were completely useless at the task. You know, I probably accomplished more myself in 30 minutes than they did in 2 or 3 hours. But you know what? I paid them with a smile on my face, because they were out there hustling and working. And I think that the younger generation right now gets a really, really bad rap where everybody talks about how, you know, all they're doing is hanging out and playing online and doing video games, and they're not doing anything else. And it's not true any more than it was true when I was a kid and they started talking about how my generation didn't do anything. All we do is sit at home in front of the TV all day. You know, and nobody goes outside to play anymore.
Yeah.
You know, but we all did.
All we did was run into the lights.
I'm sorry, what?
All we did was run into the lights.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, again, I grew up outside of New Orleans. We actually literally used to go and play in the swamp. I mean, you talk about hustling to make a buck. When I was 12 or 13 years old, me and my friend Ross Wilson turned around and threw a giant piece of plywood out in the woods with a couple of bricks underneath it to make like a nice little hidey hole. And then we would wait a couple of weeks and we would go out with canvas bags and big thick gloves, and we'd put on like rubber shrimp boots, and we'd throw the top back, and then we would reach out and grab as many of the water moccasins that we could catch and throw them in the bags. And believe it or not, we'd ride our bikes to the local hospital, and they would pay us cash money for the snakes because they would milk them for anti-venom.
Yeah.
But at no point did they call my parents or CPS or the police, because there's a 13-year-old kid with a bag of poisonous snakes at the back door of the hospital. Can you imagine a kid showing up in this day and age like that?
No.
I mean, good God, the police would be at your parents' house in a heartbeat.
Karen would have called way earlier.
Yeah.
Karen
I mean,
would have called a long time.
it is a different world now, but it's not necessarily a bad world. I mean, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and he's actually a good friend. I've never met him in person. We spend a lot of time hanging out online, playing Dungeons and Dragons, and lots of times afterwards we hang out and chat. And it's interesting because he is really conservative, and I'm really not conservative. But he and I can have really, really involved, intelligent discussions about topics that, most people talk about. Oh, you can't talk to them about that because they're conservative. We've talked about guns and single payer healthcare. And the other day we were talking about the idea of free state college. The same way that we have public high schools, the idea that, if you go to a public state college in the state you live in, you shouldn't have to pay tuition. If you can pass the academic requirements and get accepted into that college, you should be able to go without having to ransom away the next 40 years of your life. And he made a statement, and it's one that I hear a lot. And he said, but that's not fair. I mean, I had to take out student loans, and I had to fight to pay back those student loans. And my standard was, I get that, but didn't that suck? And he said, yeah. And I said, well, then why would you wish that on someone else?
Or your kids.
And he literally stopped dead and went, crap, you're right. If there's a way to legitimately pay for it, that would be a good thing to do. And I think that's the issue. I don't understand this concept of it's not fair that these people have it better than I did. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but I want everybody to not have to suffer through the hardships that I've suffered through in my life.
Cheers.
I don't care who it is.
No, I agree.
Well, Matt, on that point, we're going to wrap because that was fantastic.
Yeah, that was a good way to end.
Thank you.
And
This has been fun. We didn't get to talk too much about food.
we
got to do that again and have we should have a food show. Have Matt, we have the folks who do the smoked meat stuff because Matt can speak to all that. I mean, that would be.
Oh, no. I'm a rank amateur at the smoked meats. My thing is the cured meats.
Don't lie. I'm an electric smoker guy. I don't do any of this shit with the chips and all the pellets and all.
You got our friend.
I throw it in and I don't fuck with it and I'm good.
Our friend Darren.
Same here. Electric smoker, love it.
our friend Darren Carter knows a lot about smoking and all that. So, you know him, Doug.
Yeah.
You, Matt, you guys, everybody knows Darren Carter. But no,
Yeah.
you took the words right out of my mouth, Matt. In fact, I was talking to Doug earlier today, and I was like, we have to get Matt to talk about food because it's fascinating when you do. And Daniel Fisher says a food show. So, all right, we'll get one of those going. Matt, you going to come back for the food show?
Absolutely, man. You name the time and the place. I'll be there.
Also, honestly, I want to, not honestly, it's always honest here. But no, I want you to come back in the fall and we can talk about fall non-alcoholic beers because apparently I'm surprised about the engagement and everybody was engaged, and I don't know, maybe I shouldn't be surprised because I was fascinated as hell.
Yeah,
and we didn't even get to Lagunitas hot board. I want to talk more about that. So Matt, we're gonna have you back soon enough. Thank you for coming and entertaining us and showing us all about the non-alcoholic beers. Apparently, people who watch the show already were on them more than me and you, Doug.
Yeah.
So Matt, thanks for coming on.
The power of having a good guest.
Yes. Yes.
All right. Well, look, guys, I appreciate it. I'm actually gonna go to bed. I actually managed to read to my daughter before dinner so that I could make it here and not skip bedtime.
Man,
we can all
right, guys.
Thanks, Matt. We'll talk to you soon.
Matt. Take care.
Yep. So, Doug, it was Matt that was hilarious and great and fantastic.
I love how he just jumped in. He just jumped in like, yeah, man, so I'm having it. Like, just didn't even miss a beat. He just jumped right in. That's great.
Right. It made our jobs easier. We didn't have to pull anything out of it.
Yeah, we didn't have to pull anything. So,
speaking of pulling something, next week we have no idea how this gets to Mike Cruz, but it gets to Mike Cruz.
Fuck Mike Cruz. No, I'm just kidding. Hey, that was one of my dad 2.0 roommates. He was a great roommate.
Yeah, Mike's I don't know. Mike is a person that I will go to that too. I see him a lot, but I've really never like hung out with him like quality time. So
he is a very thoughtful, very funny human. And you're gonna love him when he's on the show. I'm telling you, he thinks deep and he's funny off the cuff.
He's funny.
And like, you don't find people that like. There's people that are funny, and then there's people that are funny like in the moment of that.
Right.
And you say something, you're like, "Fuck, that was brilliant."
Brilliant. Correct. And speaking of brilliant, I'm going to get to my beers, and next week we will have a good time with Mike for sure.
Yeah. Your review, and I'll do mine.
Okay, so this my box that our friend Daniel Fisher sent us. My box lager. It ended up being the fourth one. It's pretty good. It was good. Malty lager. Wasn't really that crisp, but it was really just more malt based. Rounded. I think you would have really liked this one. It's a different take on my box are more malty. And I don't know, having one now going into the fall, late summer was pretty fun. The second, or actually this one, we're gonna count this one.
I like how it sounds like ding, like you have 8,000 cans there.
Yeah, I have 4 because I have this one the coffee brew that Matt gave me, non-alcoholic. It was a little thin, and that's what Matt said. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's not that.
Yeah, but how do you do that in a non-alcoholic and give it that body? I'm not sure. Somebody will figure that shit out.
Maybe you can't. And then this one for sure is the third one. This little shady thing. I started the show off with it. Actually, I poured it before the show started, which I rarely do. This is a nice summery. Really not much to it, and that's probably what you're looking for. And then the best one I had here is this Monster Spark from Modern Times, Imperial Stout with bourbon barrels of vanilla. Sometimes when you have a guest like Matt who knows what he's talking about and can command the stage, sometimes you just got to get these in. So I was able to just pour this one, but this one has vanilla. I'm not sure what the ABV is. I can check it real quick. 14%. But but dog, it's not boozy at all.
No, but
It's
you said
sweet.
you made it sound like it was super smooth. So that's a
Yeah.
dangerous beer.
No, it wasn't boozy at all. In fact, it's gotten sweeter. It's not boozy at all. 1% actually. I was even when it's poured, I was like, I get bourbon on the nose, but I didn't get bourbon in that at all. I got sweetness. So somehow that vanilla overpowered that bourbon barrel. It's still good. It's give me the rest of this bad boy.
Well, I'm going to tell you, man, to have something where you can have a bourbon barrel aged thing into bourbon at 14% isn't the overriding flavor. That's impressive. That's really impressive.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So, so I'm going to start with this was my least favorite, and it was a Gosa, which breaks my heart. But it's that Surf one that was supposed to have shrimp and lobster and all that shit. And it was just salt and lemon. Yeah, not my favorite. I drank it all because I don't like wasting. Number 2 was the Crackalacka Milkshake Stout. This is a coffee milk stout. A little over, it was like not even 5.5%. This was quite good. Out of the 3 beers I have from Rochester Mills that my friend Jay sent me, this was the best one. It was smooth, drinkable. You could have several of them, which is, sometimes with stouts, it's not always the case, especially milkshake stouts. Sometimes they're like really heavy, but this is quite good. But the winners is the Dangerous Man that Paige and Rick sent me, which is that's a Keller beer. That thing was awesome. I'm not familiar with Keller beers, so I was like not understanding what I was going to get out of that, and that was delicious. I drank 5 of these crowlers. That's how good it was.
Okay. Yeah, Dangerous Man. They're known for milkshake IPAs. They're known for sours, and they're absolutely known for. And the fact that I said it third is just not giving it credit. The peanut butter porter, but they do. The thing about Dangerous Man is when I go there, I get all the styles like that. I get all styles that they don't do, and they all do them well. They're just a really well-rounded brewery, and I'm glad you got some, man.
Me too. That was like when Paige and I were discussing about the idea of shipping beers around, and she's like, "You still want to do a beer exchange?" I'm like, "Yeah." And I said, "Cool, I'll send you stuff too." And then I had a thing where a week and a half ago, I had the dumbest injury ever. I was carrying my dog downstairs, and because he refuses to go up and down our wooden steps, and I slipped on cat puke and bent my whole leg underneath me. So I thought for sure I broke something, went to the ER, and thankfully I didn't. I just sprained pretty much everything on my right leg. So I'm still working through that, and I explained to her that I was like, no crutches, but I had an air cast, and like I'm still wrapping my ankle a week and a half later. What's weird is like I can walk pretty much fine, except steps are a bitch, and it's because I fell all my weight on my calf muscle. So my calf muscle is just messed up. But I had sent a message to Paige and said, "Hey, I'm sorry, I just can't get out and go get stuff for breweries right now because I'm like not super mobile." And Paige being Paige was like, "Not a worry, just get it to me whenever you can. No rush, nothing." And that's just, they're good people. So thank you, Paige and Rick. Appreciate it.
Cheers. Had a crazy week. Debuted a new show called BadgerBeerHour.com or Badger Beer Hour. Based news show. It was fun. We'll have another one. We do one a month. But if you wanted to see the one that we did on Wednesday, it's right there. Doug, other than that, you have a great weekend. Don't slip down the stairs.
Yeah, I won't be doing that.
It wasn't like you did it intentionally.
No, it was 6:30 in the morning, and I was super tired, and I was carrying a Boston Terrier in my arm. And when I slipped, all my thoughts was like, I can't land on this dog. And I kind of shuffled him off, and I just injured the shit out of myself as I was trying to save him. So heroic. I'm heroic.
Man. All right, buddy.
Hi, brother.
I'll see you next week. Same time, same bat channel.
Yep.
With my Cruz.
Woo.
Cruz.
Who's